down the street one day. A man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my mind. And I said, yes, I said, does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care?
Good evening, everyone.
Are you okay?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. I shouldn't have drank my dinner.
Obviously, I don't know if I think
been.
you're drinking a little more than just your dinner.
I can only handle just so much.
Oh my God! So how are you, Music Man? Other than
You're just
choking
saw-
on your
you
own
just
spit.
saw how I am. We have to start off the show funny every week. We do
Every week,
something-
every week we do
something.
something funny. You think it's funny, but it's not everybody.
we have a. How was your week? First of all,
My actual week has been good, busy but good. You know, we got a filing deadline tomorrow, but knock wood, we are ahead of schedule, and you know what? We're not pressed up against getting it done.
well, there was some changes this week. You
There was some
mentioned, right?
changes, well, actually, the two clients that I'm still waiting on were in a couple of counties that were affected by Ida,
In
Hurricane
Jersey?
Ida in Jersey, and the IRS has put out a thing in response to, and everybody should check this. If you live somewhere where Ida went through, there's a good possibility your business's filing deadline has gotten extended from tomorrow until January 3rd. So double check everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the same thing with your personal returns next month. If they were due October 15th, if you had an extension and they would due October 15th, they've now been extended to January 3rd.
But you're not suggesting that people wait that long.
No,
right?
no. Look, we had a few people that were affected by it also, but we had everything already done. They had all their money squared away. So we did all their filings and all of that stuff is done. I'm the type where I'd rather just get it done and over with, pay the money, and if I owe money, and then go
You
forward.
got to be able to.
But also quarterly taxes are due tomorrow, your quarterly estimates. And if you live in an affected area, okay, you can, you don't have to pay this quarter's taxes until January 3rd. So go to the irs.gov/disaster website. And in there is a listing of all the different notices that have been put out for all IDA, all kinds of different things that are going on. So anytime there's
Watch this.
international-
And if you need to have any work done on your taxes and such, please give Darren a call at
631-721-4347. That's 631-721-4347. You notice I say the number twice. And the reason being is because
I taught you that.
he did teach me that. And then there was a short spell, if you remember, when I was doing a radio show on 103.9 Long Island News Radio.
The show by yourself.
The show by myself, right? That was strictly a business show, and whatnot. But I did that for a short period of time. And tonight's guest actually has a show on 103.9.
And I wonder why he's doing a show now. Maybe because the 10 or 12 times he's been on this particular show in 2 years or whatever it is, 3 years.
Yeah, I think he's
become a star.
He's like our Steve Martin of Saturday Night Live. Remember Steve Martin? For the longest time, he was always hosting.
He was the
number one guy. Well, Mike Brothers, Medicare Mike, is our Steve Martin. So we want to welcome Mike in. Mike, how you doing tonight?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
for having
show.
me again.
Before he starts to tell us everything that we already know about for as long
Yeah,
as
because
we're on,
we could just sit back and just let him
We
go
could.
because we've
But
heard this story 1,000
we
times.
never got an invite to his show.
That's right. We've never been
You know
invited
that?
to be on his show, even as a
I don't get it. I don't know.
I don't know. No.
You think he'll call us now?
Well, my show is all about Medicare.
No,
Just saying.
So anyway,
More knowledge can
No
be great,
excuses.
baby. And you'd be a great client
Exactly, I would be.
As a guest, that's for sure.
So anyway, so for those of you who don't know Medicare Mike, Mike's been on this show in a number of different ways as Medicare Mike to promote his business, but also he does a tremendous amount of work with veterans and helping
American
veterans
Legion.
and the American Legion. And Mike's been on with the American Legion, and us and veterans and how much Norm and I support the veterans and everything that we can do for them. So that's why we love Mike the way that we love Mike, and we love having him on. And for some reason, he keeps wanting to come back here. I don't know why, but it's a lot of fun. So Mike, ka-ching, yeah.
Ka-ching.
So Mike, tell us about Medicare.
What the hell do you
Mike.
do?
What do you do?
I do all things Medicare,
Oh, not
Okay.
Medicaid.
not Medicaid.
Okay.
I can assist a little bit with Medicaid.
So if somebody had a question, they could call you,
They could
and then
call
you
me.
can start talking to them about Medicare and flip the script.
And also direct them to the right parties for the Medicaid.
Got it. Okay.
That's I like to say that's above my pay grade.
No, not anymore.
No.
Now you're really right. You really are.
We just stop already.
Oh, look, he's blushing.
Yeah, you got me.
You got him blushing, right?
But I literally, Medicare is my passion. Second passion, besides, I should always say, my number one passion is my wife. Second passion is Medicare, but then veterans as well. Helping out, especially the veterans who don't realize they can have multiple benefits because they are a veteran. They can have.
Before you go any further, I'm just going to interrupt you because you had COVID during the year and you were really sick. And thank God you're back.
Yes.
You're rolling. So thank you very much for getting better.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank him. Absolutely.
All right. Now you can go. Go ahead.
So wait, let's back up.
Back
a little bit. We got he's really throwing a lot of things.
So
in here,
it's that
Mike.
liquid dinner.
It's that liquid dinner that he had, yeah. So Mike, let's start from the beginning, right? Before you were doing this, before you were Medicare Mike, right? What were you doing? What was your life like?
30 years as an insurance broker in Queens, doing personal lines, commercial lines, life insurance, annuities. And then in like 2015, I responded to something, found out about Medicare, talked to the bosses, go ahead and do it. Brought Medicare into the agency. And literally that's where I found, that was my calling. Why didn't I know about this years ago? There's not many people out there properly helping people get the right Medicare plan. There are many clients, I don't even write their plan. I advise them, but I don't even write them.
So here's the thing, and you've been on the show a number of times, right? So like Norm says, we know basically what you're going to talk about and how you're going to talk about it. But isn't it true that you can't approach people about Medicare?
That's a fact. I can
You-
sit there, have my goods out on the table, and say hello or goodbye or any,
You
acknowledge.
can't like
That's it.
when you were doing the normal insurance stuff, you could say, hey, you want to talk about your car insurance or you want to talk about your liability insurance? You can't do that with Medicare. But isn't Medicare a benefit for everybody?
It is, but the federal government is really concerned with hitting up, especially seniors, with too much information and a lot
How
of
can
times
you have
false
too much?
information.
Okay.
False
False information is
that-
one thing. You can't have too much information.
No, but they don't want us approaching a potential beneficiary other than saying hello. It's too much of a confrontation. I can never say that word.
Right.
It's-
Confliction.
Yeah, it's a problem, and
Well,
there are too many complaints about the way they were approached.
but the people that are doing it dishonestly,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, wouldn't you say that they're going to do it anyway? I mean, it's kind of like gun control, right? The people, the law-abiding people that have guns are not the problem,
Right.
right?
Guns don't kill people, people kill people.
People, right? But it's the criminals,
Right.
and the people that are looking to rip other people off that are the problem,
Right.
Right? So wouldn't you say that would be the same with Medicare?
Absolutely, but the government feels it's that important of an issue that is dictated to us. We cannot approach anybody. I can wear a button that says "Ask me about Medicare" or a hat.
Can you give them a button?
I cannot.
Can you give them a card?
I cannot.
You cannot do
If
any of
they,
that.
Now, if they come up to me and say, "What's this about?" or "Hello, how can I?" Once they start the conversation, I can then pick up from there.
So us starting this conversation allows you to now open up,
Absolutely.
right?
But he's
Well-
not addressing any one or two people directly. There were a lot of people watching him tonight, and that's the whole idea.
Well, that's the whole idea,
of
and
doing
I actually put the call-in number. So if you have questions about Medicare, how you can get it, how it can help you, what you can do is call
631-619-7500. That is 631-619-7500.
There we go. You got a lot of energy tonight. It's,
Okay. We're in show business.
that's what it is, right? But so Mike, so getting back to it, so you're an insurance guy, you found out about Medicare, and then you had an aha moment.
Yeah, the light bulb lit up and said, "My God, this is what I should have been doing for years."
Right, and you're like, okay, now I'm gonna go full blast into this thing.
Full blast. I was going full blasting with the agency I work for 3 years, and then I was slacking on the job I should be doing, primarily doing, and I went to the bosses and we just had a meeting and said, "Hey guys, I love you. I've been with you 30 years, but I need to go full time into Medicare, and it's not what you
Did they
guys
offer
need."
to partner with you in that? Were they looking to ever set you up or help you get started?
Oh, they helped me from the beginning. Yes, they provided all the materials and supplies. The
But that was in the
licensing,
beginning. But when you
beginning.
said you were looking to leave, didn't they recognize they had talent over here that was doing well?
Oh yeah, they did, but I wasn't going to change my mind either. I
No,
wanted
not to stay, but maybe put you in business and you become partners.
and even if that came to me, I would have turned it down.
Okay.
I knew I
You
had a
felt it.
5-year plan. Left in September 2018, September 1st, 2018. I went out on my own.
Right. So Mike, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you,
Mhm.
right, how can they do that? They can either call in here tonight,
That's for sure.
right, at
631-619-7500. You thought you were going to get
or reach out to Mike at MedicareMikeNY.com. His email, askMedicareMike@gmail.com. His LinkedIn page is there. His Instagram is there.
Or you can call him on his TV show.
His
Radio show.
Radio show.
No, I don't do call-ins because it's only a half-hour show.
So Mike does a radio show on Long Island News Radio 103.9, okay, every Friday from 3:30 to 4. So you can listen to Mike on that show.
And it's normally rush hour, so when you're stuck in traffic, what a perfect station to tune into and listen to Medicare Mike.
Yeah,
If you're on the computer, linewsradio.com.
Yep,
That's
linewsradio.com. So, Mike, you and I, like I said, I mentioned before that I had the show
Right.
on LI News Radio. How has your experience been doing radio? The first time you did it, right, all by yourself, you're kind of thrown in that little room. And for those of you who don't know, LI News Radio, I'll give you a quick explanation of where it is. It's in the middle of Long Island MacArthur Airport, right by the baggage area. And the studio is all glass. So when you're sitting there talking, you have all of these people waiting for their bags looking at you, right? Right?
You should hang up a sign, Medicare.
Well, you know what you get? You get a lot of people waving at
Waving,
you,
yeah.
right? You get a lot of people waving at you.
What's your
and
phone
things like
number? A
that.
big sign says Medicare Mike.
I actually had one open up the door once while I'm
Really?
doing the show. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So what'd you tell them?
Right
Close
on the
the
air.
door?
Right on the air. I said, "Sorry, we're on the air."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what happens, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that experience with the first time going in there. Now you're Medicare Mike. You've been Medicare Mike for a number of years, right? You've been on our show a number of times being interviewed.
Yes.
Now the switch has been flipped.
I don't think I've ever been more scared than the first
Right.
time I did the radio show. I was more monotone. I wasn't comfortable doing it because it was a complete reversal. It's easier to be on this side of the mic, so to speak, because I'm being interviewed.
Right, we're feeding you questions.
Right.
When I have to provide information and in a clear fashion, and make sure people are understanding what I'm saying, and I'm not overstating anything.
And you have to be interesting,
Yes.
right? You have to be interesting. You got to be interesting every week.
Right.
right? And that's always the challenge.
It is.
I had a very similar situation, not in my LA News radio show, but right after we started doing this, so almost 4 years ago, was it 4 years ago? Yeah, it was 4 years ago. Someone got very sick and was out for 4 months, right? And we were only doing this a couple of months. And he was like leading the charge, and I was just like the sidekick. And the first time I was,
And we were booked.
And we were booked all the way through.
Every single
So
week.
now all of a sudden I got to sit there.
Got the lead role.
And yeah, and there was the first couple of shows, I'd be sitting there going, okay, Norm, you jump in. And I'm like, he's not here.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, oh my God, what do I do?
There's
And
no safety valve when you're
there's
alone.
no safety valve when you're alone. and
Well,
stuff
thank
like
God
that.
you have a half hour.
Yeah.
Then it's a lot safer that particular way. But Darren was stuck with an hour interview.
Yeah.
Hour interview, and we
Yeah.
had no commercials.
And you're responsible to yourself about what you do.
Right.
Darren then is responsible for the guest that's also in the office.
Yeah.
Well, let's skip that for a second and
Yeah.
go back. Now, Medicare is what you do. It's what you specialize in.
Right.
Why did you choose Medicare versus, why did you want to do that? What was it about Medicare that turned you on so much?
Well, the reason that we got involved in Medicare was our agency was over 100 years old. The book of business on the personal lines, the homeowners and the auto,
Demographics.
was aging.
Mhm.
And every now and then somebody would come in, well, what do I do? I'm on Medicare. We don't know. We don't handle that. And that kind of bugged me a little bit because we're losing a potential client.
Right.
And that's giving somebody else the opportunity to steal that client from us because they probably
For
do
the
the
rest
same
of
thing.
your business.
Right. So when I got an email invite from Joanne French, who's been on the show with me before, to come to a Medicare seminar, I went to the bosses and they said, yeah, go see what it's like. When I first did it, I really only did it from a business standpoint, thinking it's going to help the business. Didn't know much about it. As I progressed in it and realized that everybody I spoke to, and at that time it was predominantly the clients of the business I worked for, were so lost, didn't have any information, didn't know how to sign up for Medicare. There was nobody there to tell them how to do these things.
Why is it so difficult?
Because you're dealing with the government, plain and simple. You got to go. It's a process.
It is.
And you have to follow guidelines. If you do one thing wrong, you're not going to be successful.
Okay, I call you up, I get your number, I call you, I said, I've heard about you or whatever. I heard you on the Business Power Hour show with Darren and the Music, and I'd like to find out, I'm turning 65 or I'm 63 or whatever the number happens to be. What can you tell me? When should I approach it? When should I do this? Tell me.
And it's even more important, that great question, because with the Social Security offices not being open, everybody's working from their home.
Right.
Everything is so delayed. And it's very important especially for those who already have their Part A and only need Part B because they're leaving the group or retiring, which I'll get to. But to answer your question, minimally 3 months before you turn 65 or are going to retire or are going to lose your group health plan is the latest you should be calling me, because there's paperwork involved or online enrollments to be done. In order to go online and do it, you have to have a My Social Security account. Then you can sign up for Medicare. You can't go online and sign up for Medicare without first getting the My Social Security account.
And for those of you who don't know what a My Social Security account is, the Social Security Administration now allows you, or is giving you the ability to go on and look at your account. So you'll know potentially if you retire and I'm 55, if I say I'm going to retire in 15 years, this is how much I'm going to get in Social Security. They'll estimate it out for you, and they'll let you know what's in your account now. Because what people don't realize is that every year that you work and you're paying, you're paying into the system, your account is growing.
Right.
And you get Social Security based on what you earn. I don't care what anybody says. You're paying into the retirement system.
Absolutely.
So, they've recently, everything's going digital now. So it's.
Well, don't also, when you're paying Social Security during payroll,
right.
don't you stop like at around April or so? This is when you meet your quota?
No. Social Security now
Is now the whole year?
It's broken up into a couple of different parts: Social Security and Medicaid, right? And Medicaid is basically Medicare, and that's basically you got to make it too much money,
Right.
stupid money
before
you level out now. And it's 130,
Back it was
right?
different.
Social Security now is 137.5, I think.
Like something like that.
137.5, I think. Once you made 137,500, then Social Security stops.
All right, so now
So
I made the phone call.
I want to go back. One thing that's real important with my Social Security account, and I run into this all the time. Yes, I have one. You have your username and your password. Oh, I don't know where it is. To retrieve your username and password is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose that like piece of gold. Put it in a safe deposit box. I don't care what you have to do with it. Have that username and password available at any time because it'll be needed.
Okay, so now I call you. I took my username and password. I've locked it away in the vault. I'm calling you up. What is the first thing that you're going to ask me, or I'm going to, forget what I'm going to ask you. What are you going to tell me? What information do you need to start preparing and helping me out?
I need to know when they're turning 65, what month. Is it on the first or after the first? So I know when they can get their benefits, start getting their benefits. I need to know if they are going to continue to work and have group health coverage, so I can weigh the differences between staying on the group plan, the costs involved with that, the coverages involved with that, versus going on Medicare, what their Part B premium is going to be.
That was a question I was going to ask you, right? So if you have and I have clients like this, 70 years old, they're still working, and he didn't even want to sign up for his Social Security. I'm like, you're 70, you're maxed out. You got to start taking it, right? And because he makes good money and all that other stuff, and he didn't want to, and his wife was, no, sign up for it. Get him to sign up. We did all of that. Why would I not stay on my group plan and go to Medicare?
First thing, cost factor. Are you paying into your group health plan?
Right.
Because I can tell you what your Part B premium is based on your income.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what you're paying currently. You know what your coverages are currently. If I can get you where you pay only the Part B premium based on your income and then get health insurance on top of it at zero additional cost, potentially, weigh that against the cost you're chipping in on your own group health, because most plans most companies are no longer paying 100%.
Okay, so but my understanding is Medicare is free.
No.
Okay.
Part A is free, which is hospitalization.
So we have different parts.
Yes.
All right.
Like a pizza.
Like a pizza,
right? Like the commercial, which I'm going to rip apart in a few seconds.
We got parts A, B, C, and D.
Right.
Right. So part A is just the basic health coverage that we would get to go to the health checkups and things like that. No.
Part A is only hospital coverage.
Okay.
Part B is your medical coverage.
All right.
Then there's Part D. I skipped C for a reason. Part D is your prescription drug coverage. That is the least of creditable coverage you can have. Those three. You can also then add to it a Medicare supplement, or you can revert to a Part C plan, which is a Medicare Advantage plan, which takes A and B away from the federal government. You still got to pay that Part B premium to the federal government.
Right.
But the Part C plan takes over the coverages of A and B and D all into one plan. And that's the plan that could potentially be with a zero premium.
Okay.
And not just they're great plans.
What do you mean? What do you mean potentially a zero premium?
I never guarantee your premium is going to be zero until I research all the information I need. Your doctors, your medicines, your hospitals, your pharmacies. There's a lot of research that has to get done, so I can then find the best plan based on your.
So is this a reason why a lot of insurance agents don't pursue this?
Yes,
because there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, they're afraid of the work involved. Or
do you have anyone else who works with you?
I do two things. I write Medicare business, and I train new agents to properly sell Medicare.
But do you do your own researching?
I do it all myself.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. I despise this commercial that's on TV.
Which one?
They're the one where Joe Namath is on and Dynamite.
Yes.
Oh,
Jimmy Walker.
Now, I went to high school with him. Right? Forget
Wait,
that.
you went to high school with Jimmy Walker?
Yeah, I did. Back in the day.
How old is he?
He's my age, obviously.
Okay.
They tell you that you get money back. They tell you this. They tell you that. I know because you've told me that certain things are not true on that. Why are they allowed to get away with? They're selling that. They're doing what you were told you can't do.
No. I can do a radio commercial. I can do any commercial I want. They're not being true. They are being truthful, but they're being devious in what they're doing, deceivious. I'll give you an example. You hear, get $148 back a month.
Right.
Well, you can if you live in one county in Florida.
In the whole country.
In the whole country.
Which is where Joe Namath lives.
No. And he says, I've been given all these extra benefits, transportation,
Right.
dental, over the counter,
Not true.
healthy food. You have to have both Medicare and Medicaid to get that. I don't think Joe Namath is on Medicaid. You have to be a veteran without prescription drug coverage because you're covered by the VA for the prescription drugs, and then you get some of that.
Right.
It's so they're saying what they're saying is truthful, but it's not truthful for everybody. It's only truthful for a very small percentage.
of a percentage.
Right. So the way they're presenting it is not the correct way to present
Correct. I would not ever in my life do a commercial like that.
Right.
Ever. I just wouldn't.
Do you think they even, they're more than likely because of their celebrity status, they don't even know.
They don't know what
They're
they're talking about.
They're reading a book.
They
about
got
a
hired.
chart.
They got hired. Here's the script. Read it. Go.
Learn it and
Right.
speak it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I get it.
The people behind it are phone banks.
Yeah.
It's a large agent like me, except 100 times bigger,
Right.
and they have hundreds of people sitting in a phone bank waiting for everybody to call that number, and then they're being told,
Well,
"I'm sorry, you don't qualify for that, but we can get you this."
But Mike, you just said before, it's all about the personalization, because if you don't personalize it, you're going to lose out.
There
Right.
is nothing more, and I can't stress this enough. I don't care where you live. If you don't deal with a local broker, you're not going to get the knowledge needed based on the area you live in. You can be in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I don't know what goes on in Michigan. I'm licensed in a lot of states, so I have to be up on that.
Yeah,
but I
let's
don't
talk
write
about
it.
that for just
But
one
these
second. As long as you brought it up. You are licensed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you got a bunch more coming.
I added Maine this week.
Okay, so you got 13 states. So if you live in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North or South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Nevada, Colorado, or
South Dakota.
South Dakota,
And now Maine.
and now Maine, they should be calling you at what number?
631-392-8268.
We did that good, right?
631-392-8268.
There you go.
Or go to Mike's website at MedicareMikeNY.com, or send him an email at askmedicaremike@gmail.com. We're going to take a quick break.
We got so much more to talk about.
We're on a roll here. When we come back, we're going to continue with Mike. We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. So hang in there, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Take to the highway, won't you lend me your name? Your way and my way seem to be one and the same. How sweet it is to be loved by you. There you were, needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotions. I won't stop, thank you, baby. I just won't stop And thank you, baby. Yes, I do.
Coming on the Business Power Hour gives you something that you don't normally get with your typical advertising on the internet.
Or in the newspaper.
Right?
None of that stuff.
You get thousands of viewers who see the show every week, not only locally, but nationally and internationally.
For a very nominal fee. Actually, we did it and we broke it down. It will actually cost you 0.75 cents per view that you get. That's it. All right, so if you're interested in being a guest on the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, please give me a call at 631-698-9696 or email me at norman@friendentusa.com or call Darren at...
You can call me at 844-987-CBMS. That was 844-987-CBMS, or email me at Darren@bphdmm.com.
I think I'm going to get in touch with you also.
Yeah?
I am, to make sure that you get here on time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right?
It's the first time ever I've been late.
Pachera aquata, also known as the money tree, is a tree that flourishes in the tropical rainforest. Unlike other trees, it depends on 5 separate trunks to prosper, each one bringing its own share of water and nutrients to the leaves. Like the money tree, your business has many different trunks that need your attention. Sales, marketing, finance, operations, and culture. Fail to cultivate any one of these and the whole tree collapses. I understand this better than anyone else, which is why I developed My Prosperity Tree, a program designed to address all of these areas, not just one or two. We help you identify who you are as a company, define your direction, and assist with developing the systems that will enable you to scale your business the most efficient and effective way, allowing your company to bloom into your own prosperity tree. So plant your tree today by visiting myprosperitytree.com or call us at 844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2267.
Hi, welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. And our guest is Michael Brothers, better known as Medicare Mike.
Medicare Mike, welcome back, my friend.
631-619-7500 is the number to call in. If you want to help your parents, your aunts or your uncles that are getting older and they're going to need some help in Medicare, it will be a good idea for you to call that number and maybe just ask Mike a question or two, and he can help you out while he's here.
It's not only your aunt, uncle, family members. You may have a neighbor. You may have somebody else. You know, I've told this story before on the show. I was in Starbucks one day, and for some reason, I was meeting with a client, and this older woman came over to me and said, "Hey, are you in insurance?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And she went, "Well, I'm looking for somebody who knows Medicare." It was the weirdest thing, because you were just on the show, and who knows, maybe she saw the show and
thought it was you, right?
Right? And I was like, "No, but I have a guy for you, Medicare Mike."
I got a guy.
That's me. I got a guy. So I grabbed my phone. I took your number. I gave you your number, and I don't know if she ever followed up, but I just thought that it was the weirdest thing. Yeah. That why would somebody come over, and you know what? Now I'm putting that together. That could be that she could have saw the show and thought I was the insurance guy, you know? So it was like, but Mike, you're getting that all over the place. You don't realize how many people, well, actually, we didn't realize, Norm and I, how many people it actually affects until we met you, because we're running into it everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially the vets.
You know? Yeah.
So let's talk about the vets a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're in the service. You're leaving the service. You're going back to everyday kind of life. And the armed forces is supposed to tell you about the benefits and such that you've earned from the time that you've been in there. And I know, because we've had this conversation before a couple of years back, they really weren't on top of things. I believe they've changed things a bit now, and they're informing the vets of their rights and things that they can get. Why should they call you? Why should any vet call you?
You're right. They do more now with alerting the vets as to what they're entitled to as time goes on when they leave. But the average vet is still in their early to mid 20s, and that stuff is in one ear and out the other. So they may have been told, but they're going to forget. And when they come home, they're going to probably get into the workforce. What they don't know is that there are over 1,500 items in your body, things that can go wrong with your body that could be related to service connection. They don't realize, I'm maybe entitled to VA benefits, which are very important. To just simply apply for the VA benefits, not necessarily get anything, but to apply actually helps the VA's budget by somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a year per person if you enroll in the VA. That doesn't mean you're getting VA benefits. That means you're just simply enrolled. If you get VA benefits on top of it, that's wonderful. And as time goes on, if you become disabled because of your injuries, and you're entitled to both VA and Social Security disability, you may be entitled to Medicare far younger than 65. And so therefore...
Okay, so what's a circumstance that would make me eligible for Medicare before I'm 65?
Collecting Social Security disability, having end-stage renal disease, or having Lou Gehrig's disease.
Okay.
Those are the ways you can qualify prior to 65. And on Social Security disability, you get the benefit of Medicare as of the 25th month.
So basically, if I had major heart surgery and I couldn't work anymore,
right,
and Social Security said, okay, you're disabled, we're going to pay you disability benefits.
Right.
I am now eligible for Medicare.
As of the 25th month on Social Security disability.
Okay,
yes.
so I got to wait 2 years and 1 month.
Right.
So I'm not in good health.
That's
I'm in disability, but I got to wait 2 years and
That's
1
a
month.
long time.
Well, they don't want to put somebody on Medicare who's going to go back into the workforce.
Right, I got you. No, that's
but 2 years is a long time. If like Darren says, God forbid he has a heart attack and he can't work anymore.
Now I'm
That's
disabled.
where short-term disability comes in, or your personal disability insurance policy.
Well, what if you don't have one? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Americans that, people don't realize, and I see this all the time. Everybody goes, oh, you should get this coverage and that coverage, and that. Especially on Long Island. A lot of families can't afford to buy these extra coverages. Right? So what do they do? Because I've seen this. You get it, somebody in their late 30s, early 40s, all of a sudden they have a massive heart attack or something goes seriously wrong. Now they can't work. Right? They lose their benefits. Right? They can't pay Cobra.
No.
They're not working. They can't afford any of this stuff. Then they got to wait 2 years before they can get
charity, is what I say. Because if you can't afford health insurance, because health insurance is crazy money.
Oh, it's stupid.
It's ridiculous money. Now, as your income drops, it becomes more affordable. You could get a $20 a month plan,
right?
If your income is that low.
But if you're not making any money, or you're disabled,
you still got to pay it.
And Medicaid.
If you can't make the money, you got to be able to
Medicaid.
pay.
If you make less than don't hold this. I'm not a Medicaid expert,
right?
But $904 a month, I think, is the income requirement. If you make that or less, you're pretty much going to get on Medicaid.
So basically, there are other avenues to.
So you got to be
have
in
that
poverty
bridge
in order to get insurance.
Yeah.
So you got to decide whether you eat or whether you get insurance.
Everyday occurrence. What you're talking about, what you just said, I see every day.
That's because the system's broke.
Yes.
And they don't know how to fix it.
No. And there's all this talk now of adding all these wonderful benefits to Medicare, dropping the age of Medicare eligibilities to age 60. These are all great ideas. People are loving it. But how are we paying for it? That's what I want to know, is how are we going to pay for all this?
You know what? Since COVID started and they started handing out all this money from day one, and he can attest to this, and he's actually said it too, is how are we going to pay all this money back?
Yeah.
Because everybody goes, oh, it's free money, PPP money, and
there's so much stuff we don't know.
And grants and all this other stuff.
Hidden money, buried money, all kinds of stuff. You know, and there's the things we should do infrastructure. Everything's falling apart. No
They
matter
just
where we
gave
go.
Pelosi $200 million to fix a park in San
Right.
Francisco.
Right.
$200 million for a park?
And know what they said? Because all the work she did, she
Yeah,
deserves
she
it.
deserves it.
That's a
She
stupid
deserves
answer.
it. Not-
She-
But
exactly.
we're not
deserves
going
it.
political here.
No, I'm not.
No,
But
I
that could have been any political
But,
party.
but
That's
the whole,
Absolutely.
the whole
Absolutely.
point of that is, unfortunately, our government doesn't know how to spend money.
Right.
Right. But if they hired me to help them with their prosperity tree,
There you go.
we can get themselves.
What's your number?
We
You
can-
know, 2 weeks ago, we had a guest in here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because the clock is ticking. And it's something that I didn't know anything about. I have the privilege of doing a concert upcoming next month for Long Island Cares. And we had the executive director in here. Wonderful guy, Paul Pachter, who, by the way,
Fantastic.
has COVID. He's
He
home.
does?
He's got COVID.
Oh,
I'm
he's-
sorry
he's
to hear
home now.
that.
And that's why you
Paul,
haven't
get
had a
better
chance
if,
to
if
see
you're
him.
watching tonight. Get
Please.
better.
Norman, I've got to cut you off there because you said we're short. Thank you for having both of you for having him on the show. I watched the show. Utterly impressed.
Great guy.
Thanks to you, you made a connection. I had a meeting with them last week with a couple people from Advocate, Colin and Joanne, who have been here. They loved us. We loved them. We now are having a partnership where I'm going to help their people with Medicare, especially the veterans, those who have both Medicare and Medicaid.
Well, that's the key. This is what I'm talking about. They have a veterans division in Long Island Cares. Now, Long Island Cares is a food bank.
Right.
These are the problems
Mhm.
that we have where the vets have to go there or somehow retrieve some food
Yeah.
to help them survive and their families survive. And
Terrible.
Yeah.
crazy. And tell the funny story that you told us earlier about when you were in the waiting room.
Today I was at an event outside the food bank in Lindenhurst.
When this was Long Island
This
Cares?
is Long Island Cares, their satellite branch in Lindenhurst on Wellwood Avenue. 631-1, I believe is the address. I'm sitting there with the two people from Long Island Cares and somebody from Northwell Health. My car is literally in the street 5 feet in front of me. People are coming in. We're having great conversations with the vets. Tuesdays are strictly for vets. I only allow veterans in, and it's from 10 to 2. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden this lady with a little wagon cart goes by, walks past us, and we all said hello. Then she turns around, and she goes, "Who's Medicare Mike?" And I said, "That's me." And she goes, "I need your card. I'm going to call you. I need to switch plans. Come open enrollment." And we're all scratching our heads. How did she know about Medicare Mike? She literally just walked right past
That's
everything.
Advertising is a
I had a
wonderful
magnet on my car, my advertisement magnet on the car. She saw that, and that's what made her turn
Well,
around.
and that's the thing is you don't know when you're going to run into somebody, and you don't know when opportunities are going to present
Right.
themselves.
All right, I'm going to
So
give
that's-
myself a plug now that we're talking about it. If you want to help Long Island Cares raise some money for the work that they do, October 2nd is going to be our tribute to Stevie Wonder live show. We're bringing him in from out of town.
I'm gonna do-
October 2nd.
I'm going to do you one better. We're going to show the
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay.
All right, so we're back. That's the show that Norm is doing. It's going to be a great show. His shows are always great. Mike, one of the things you mentioned when the little old lady came back, right, and said, "Hey, I gotta talk to you for open enrollment." What's open enrollment? Can't I just sign up for Medicare anytime
Anytime I
want?
want.
No. And in actuality, she used the word open enrollment. I used her words. It's actually called annual enrollment.
Okay,
I'm going to back up a little bit because in September, this month,
right.
everybody who has a Medicare Advantage plan or a prescription drug plan gets from their carrier an annual notice of change. I tell everybody it's the most important read of the year. You open it up, it's a very thin little booklet, but on the left side of the column is going to tell you what your plan looks like now. The right-hand side is going to tell you what it's going to look like next year. It may tell you your plan's not even going to exist next year. if you don't read that, you're not going to know, and you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. So they send that in September.
So wait. I now get my notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me is that I may lose my insurance if I'm not paying attention?
Yeah, absolutely. There are
there's parts of it.
No, if the plan is going away, they have to be informed in September that as of January, their plan is not going to be around. And that's
Right.
part of the annual notice of change. Your plan is changing. How is your plan changing?
This is how.
This is how. And it could be as extreme as your plan will no longer exist.
So you have to now go pick out a new plan.
Correct. And if you don't, you're not going to have a plan next year. And if you don't read the book, you're not going to know.
All right. How often does that happen?
Every year, there's
No.
usually at least one company's plan that goes away.
All right.
Not every plan. Most plans are pretty stable and stay the way they are. But there are a possibility that, due to multiple reasons, wasn't getting the proper star rating. There wasn't enough participation. They're merging one plan into another. Whatever the reasons are, usually there's one or two plans a year that disappear.
Your plan that you talked about before, piece of the pizza, when we were talking about the pizza, does it stay the same year after year, or does that change too?
Oh, everything changes. Your Part B premium could change every year. If you get a Social Security bump in your Social Security benefit, you can rest assured your Part B premium is going up. Part D.
So wait a second.
Yes.
I'm getting more money to pay bills because of cost of living.
Right.
And
it's
then
going away.
they're gonna bump up my insurance, basically taking the money they're giving me to put into that.
On average, last year, it was a $20 bump in Social Security. It was like a $5 bump in Part B premium. So you netted about $15.
Oh, just for that, but there were other things that went up too.
Oh, that's
So you
depending on
still
the
have
plan.
lost.
That's depending on the plan. Yes. And the reason why that comes out in September, the ANOC, or annual notice of change, is the annual enrollment period is October 15th through December 7th. That's the time frame you have to pick a plan for next year.
So wait a second. I turn 65 for this demonstration. I'm going to say June.
Mhm.
I have to wait until October to pick
No.
a plan?
If you're turning 65 in June, you can pick a plan in June.
Okay.
That even though Medicare always runs January 1st to December 31st.
All right.
So your plan may start June 1st, but it's going to renew January 1st.
I gotcha.
So during annual enrollment, you have that opportunity to either stay with the plan. If you stay with your plan, you like your plan, the annual notice changed, you love it, no problem. You don't have to do anything. It just automatically renews.
So basically, Medicare is just like going on, the New York State website and picking an insurance company and a plan, and my doctor's in this plan, so I want to do this and that. So that's basically what Medicare is, right?
Yeah, it is.
To some extent.
To some extent, it thankfully is cheaper, much less expensive, and oftentimes broader coverages than even through the exchange or from group health.
How many different plans do you offer? How many different companies?
Right now, I represent 14 different companies
14.
with well over 100 different plans.
So you have a lot of options. You have a lot of things, and
You have a lot of confusion.
have you? Well, there's always confusion, but that's the government.
But that's your
Right.
job.
That's my job to.
That's why Mike is here. That's why Mike gets the
And
ratings.
that's why
that he
people got to
gets.
call you at what number?
631-392-8268. That's 631-392-8268.
And if you go to his website, MedicareMikeNY.com, and email him, ask Medicare Mike at Gmail. Even if you have a simple question, Mike has no problem answering any question, and he'll do his best to turn it around.
No,
as
any
quickly as
question
possible.
related to Medicare. You
The only-
can ask him questions about the Yankees and things like
Oh, you
that.
can always ask me about the Yankees, too.
Yeah, he'll
I know,
answer
I do.
those. That's it.
Yeah, the only stupid question is when you don't ask.
Seriousness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is the one that look.
You never ask, you never know.
There are so many variables and there's so many things that we need to know about Medicare that's why you see what gets me, Mike, about you. And I know, look, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and I love you. I think you're a great guy. What gets me is the fact that you could have took a much easier path to make money, and you did prior, but you chose to do the right thing. You're in it to serve people. You're not in it for the paycheck.
No, it's a passion.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm not gonna lie, the paycheck is wonderful.
Right.
But I get more thrill, and I've been doing this for many years now. And every time I write a client, I have the biggest smile on my face because I know what they have is now what's in their best
People
interest.
just like you.
Oh,
And you shouldn't. It's up to you. Who you do business, you gotta like the people that you deal with.
people can see that you're being honest or being dishonest
Yes.
very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I just choose to be honest on everything.
Well, why not?
How refreshing.
Yeah, it is. It is really nice that you do that. It's just tremendous.
Thank you. I have to, if I may, one last quick little story.
We got 9 minutes left.
One of the, I go into detail onto how to help people choose the right plan.
Right.
A lot of people just say, give me this, give me that. I go as far as, do you travel the United States? Do you travel outside the United States? Pretend it's not COVID, what would you do?
Right.
Where are you going? And the reason I say that is there are plans that are nationwide plans where you can travel the United States on a Medicare plan and see a doctor for the same cost as you would in your home state. A lot of agents don't do that. I literally had a classmate who lives in Florida call me because of my Facebooking.
Right.
And said his mother-in-law is in New Jersey visiting her daughter, but can't see a doctor. Can I help? The problem was the agent down in Florida thought they were doing the right thing because it was the best plan in Florida, except she didn't ask or he didn't ask,
Right.
do you travel?
Right.
They sold her an HMO, which means outside of your service area,
Yeah.
you can only get emergency care. She needed to see a doctor while she was in Jersey, couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So had the right question been asked, do you travel? Oh yeah, I go to Jersey all the
wouldn't
time.
that be something that as people get older and they start retiring and they travel,
Of course.
right? Especially, I'm not originally from Florida. I live in, obviously you probably have family somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're more than likely going to go travel to see that family at some point, right?
Yeah.
But, it's like just recently I just drove from, I was telling you the story, here to Denver,
Right.
Colorado. And if I didn't have the right coverage during my trip, and for God, thank God nothing happened, but I could have been screwed.
Absolutely. And I
Also
see
the
that all
mode-
the time in seniors, unfortunately.
It's also the mode of transportation.
Yeah.
Because if you're driving from Florida to New Jersey, you're going through a lot of states.
Yeah.
Who's to know which state you're going to get, God forbid, sick in?
Absolutely. No,
You know,
no
so-
question. And it alludes back to those commercials. They're not going to ask those questions. They're in the business to write
writing deals,
business.
that's all.
There's nothing personal there.
Right.
Right. Okay. We know who this is. So can you talk, Mike, about the cost of medical errors to Medicare?
I like to call it fraud, waste, and abuse. That's where the problem comes in. But as far as medical errors, there's medical errors.
You know who probably wrote that, right? Hi, Eileen.
Hi, I was going to say hi, Eileen. Medical errors are not only for those on Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
The medical errors shouldn't occur, and are a problem, and it adds to the cost, not only financial cost of a burden, but the burden put on the family members of the person that had medical, I call it fraud, put on.
Mm-hmm.
There should be tighter restrictions, and there isn't. But if they feel that it was due to fraud, waste, or abuse, there are actions that can be taken through the federal government, as there are laws pertaining to that. If it's just simple, there's no such thing as simple, but if it's malpractice, that's just a legal thing, and
Right.
there's really not much you can do about it. I don't think it's more prevalent in the world of Medicare than it is anywhere else, but again, that may be above my pay grade to properly answer.
So if I'm picking out my coverage for Medicare, right? And I'm worried about malpractice and things like that. How do I protect myself? Is there are there plans that cover?
No, the doctors have, or the hospitals have, or whoever has their own malpractice. That's going to cover you for any monetary loss due to the medical loss.
Yeah, they cover for malpractice. Billing is involved with malpractice.
No, billing. If we're talking billing issues,
she's
I'm
referring
sorry.
to.
If she's referring to billing issues, that could be a strong fraud, waste, and abuse issue, and it does happen all the time.
You know where it
and
happens?
It has to be reported.
I'll go to the doctor. I will pay my copay. A year and a half later, I get a letter that says I didn't pay on December 7th.
Get it all the
My $20. Who's keeping the receipts? Who's keeping
My wife
receipts
does.
for a year? Okay,
Seriously.
God bless.
Yeah.
But this one doesn't keep for a year and a
Right.
half. I'm gonna hold it for 6 months or whatever. But, it accumulates.
That's why you pay with a debit card. You never give them cash.
Right.
Because you pay with a debit card, you have a record from your
Correct.
bank saying you paid it.
And anybody can report fraud, waste, or abuse. If
Mhm.
you know that there's a problem going on, you can call your carrier, and the carrier, insurance company, would you say I have to report fraud, waste, or abuse, the carrier has to connect you with the party within so that it can be reported.
I had a situation not too long ago. I went and got blood work for my annual physical and stuff, and I think my coverage, I had to pay $37.50 or something like that when I got the blood work done. So I paid it, right? And like a month and a half later, I get an email from the lab saying, "Oh, you owe $37.50." I was like, "No, I don't. I paid it." So I log in, I look at the billing and all that. They never applied the payment. So, when you think about how often that probably happens and how many people just go, "I don't remember if I paid it."
Right.
Or, you know what? It's only $37. I don't want to fight with the billing people.
You know what they also
Yeah.
do? You will go and you'll pay your bill, $150. Okay? But you have third party coverage like AARP or whatever it is that one uses. They don't submit it. And then they tell you that you still owe them the money. And then we forgot to send it.
Well, New York, and I can't speak for other states, has what's called a surprise bill law. And if you are, and you can get a better expert to speak on it, but basically, if you got a bill that you weren't expecting to pay, or have a problem paying, not have a problem paying, but have a reasoning why you got the bill, or weren't aware that the doctor, for example, was out of your network, you were unconscious at the time, they chose to use an out of network, you can file a claim with the state as a surprise bill law. You attach the bill, you do the paperwork, send it in, you send it to, I believe, both the state and the carrier. And if it's a legitimate problem, you will never see that bill again. And it really does work. You can look into the surprise bill law. Again, it's not something I'm an expert in, but that may be a help.
You know what time it is?
It's time, Mike.
Is it that time already?
One more time, Mike. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how can they do it?
631-392-8268. 631-392-8268.
And visit Mike's website at MedicareMikeNY.com. Ask Medicare Mike at gmail.com is his email. So, also LinkedIn, Instagram, all that stuff. And don't forget, listen to Mike on LI News Radio every Friday afternoon from 3:30 to 4 o'clock.
No matter where you
No
are,
matter
you can tune in.
where you are, you can tune in. Just go on the internet, 1039.
And ask him your questions.
Yeah.
He's opening his phones for you to ask questions. And then you decide if you want to make an appointment and see him.
Exactly. So, Mike, as always, we love having you on the show.
Thank you. Once
Great
again,
job
thank you, guys.
tonight.
Great job. Great job.
And thank you for the connection again. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Anytime.
No problem.
Anytime.
All right, my friend. Wow, what a great show. You know what? I love having him on because he's always a great guest.
And we don't have to talk.
We don't. He just goes on and on and on and on.
Let him be.
But it's awesome. It's definitely awesome.
He's really a good guy.
So I'll
We
give
didn't
you
ask
a
him-
little update. Remember last week I got hypnotized.
You go, who?
Hypnotized. You were here.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, I forgot to bring you the loaf of bread. Damn.
Well, I can tell you this: I've been staying away from the bread. I haven't been presented with that opportunity of having that basket put in front of me yet, but I have no cravings for bread. So,
well, it's a shame because when you least expected, I'm going to bring you.
I'm sure
nice,
you are.
I went home and told
because
my
I know
wife,
you're good like that.
I said, Chris, she says, you're such a ball breaker. I said, no, I'm going to bring him butter. Also, and I want to put it right there on the desk and bring a knife. And we'll say,
We'll cut it up.
And,
I'll
eat it with you.
So,
well, maybe we'll have a show just staring at the bread.
yeah, exactly.
Butter.
All right, so we're going to be back here next Tuesday, right? Not next Monday, just next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. We're going to be back here at 7 o'clock, so tune in. We look forward to seeing you guys. Have a safe week. All right.
Those of the Jewish faith,
Yes.
have a happy Yom Kippur and
Yep.
easy fast.
Yep.
We thank you, and we get to see everybody next week, 7 o'clock sharp, and the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Good night, everyone.